Hi, my name is Ray Fernandez from Bridge Marina. I'm here to give you some basic boat safety information, keep you safe on the water this summer. Boating is a fun, safe, comfortable experience on the water for you, your family, and your crew. However, we have to remind you that boating also has an inherent, uncontrollable level of risk. Please pay close attention today because a life you save could be your own. The driver is responsible for him and his crew to wear life jackets while aboard a boat. Everyone should wear a U.S. Coast Guard approved properly fitted life jacket while on the water. Those that are especially susceptible to drowning risks, elderly, physically capable, or children should wear a life jacket at all times. It is illegal and negligent for you to operate or allow others to operate the boat while under the influence of alcohol, drugs, and/or medicines. Noise, sun, waves, these all greatly increase impairment while on the water, so please be safe. So one should never put body parts or people in between the boat and the dock. This is a place for fenders. Fenders protect the boat from the dock and the dock from the boat. Fenders should be installed before docking or before leaving the dock. The engine should be off and the anchor should be deployed before anyone enters the water. A life jacket should be worn when entering the water for any reason. Before jumping in the water, someone should manually check the water depth to make sure it's safe. The emergency engine stop switch is the first choice to turn the engine off if someone were to fall in the water. The driver is to inform their crew how to use the emergency stop switch in case of an emergency. As a reminder, boats have no brakes, so it could be challenging to even impossible to stop your boats depending on your speed. In order to slow the boat down, one should first put it in neutral. That's akin to pressing your brakes slightly if you were in a car. If you needed to stop more abruptly, you would put the boat into reverse. Please remember though, if you do not remove it from reverse, it's going to start moving backwards next. Slow down far in advance of wherever you plan to stop. Also, you should prepare your lines and/or fenders before you get to the dock. When nearby objects and/or docks, you want to move in a slow, deliberate pattern. Go only as fast as you wish to hit the dock. Always be aware of your surroundings and drive at a slow speed. The driver should always maintain a safe lookout by sound, sight, or assistance from others. The driver should recruit crew members to assist with lookout. The driver should be aware of the water conditions, other vessels, and their boat location at all times. Overloading or improper loading of guests and/or gear on the boat can be a dangerous situation. Proper distribution would be to evenly spread your weight and/or passengers about the boat. You do not want to overload the bow, starboard, port, or stern of the boat, as this could cause submarining and/or capsizing of the vessel. Vessels have a specific capacity limit. The greater the weight, the greater the challenge and/or risk in operating the boat. It is illegal for passengers to sit on the bow, gunnels, or stern of the boat, as passengers could fall into the water and pass under the boat. Please stay inside the boat and in seats while the boat is operating. The #1 rule of boating is to avoid collision at all times. Slow down, steer away, or stop to avoid collision. Never proceed at a speed that is beyond your ability. Always obey no wake zones. Please proceed at a safe speed that allows you to steer away or stop the boat should a situation arise. When approaching a boat head-on, it is prudent for you to steer to the right or to your starboard side, so you and the other boat pass port side to port side. The person that is on your starboard side has the right of way, and you should yield to their stern. So again, if a person is coming on your right side or your starboard side, you should yield to their course and go to their stern. If a boat is approaching you from your port or your left side, that boat should yield to you and let you continue your course, and they should pass to your stern. But remember, the #1 rule of boating is to avoid collision at all costs. When overtaking another boat, you must yield to their course until acknowledged. First choice is to pass on the port, the left side, if boat space and water conditions permit. If passing on the port is not the best option, you may pass on the starboard side again, if boat traffic and water conditions permit. You should always allow ample space to yield to the boat you're overtaking in case they change course. Signal twice if you're passing on the port left side, or signal once if you're passing on the starboard, the right side. While you're on the water, you will come across information buoys. These are here to give you information about the waterway. A popular one may be a no-wake buoy. This is a white buoy with a circle on it. and this would indicate to drive at a no-wake speed. As a driver, you should always be aware of the navigational aids and information buoys that you come across on the water, and react accordingly. The driver should not only review their chart and plan their course before departing, they should use that chart throughout the day. Do not rely solely on electronics. Within the chart, you will find hazards, water depths, channel markers, and other safety information that will help you throughout your day. Please stay in the channel, avoid shallow areas, and please do not follow other paths of other boats, as they may not know where they're going. As a boater, you must proactively monitor the weather. Abrupt changes in wind and/or temperature can be indication of changing weather. If you find yourself caught in severe weather, the first thing you should do is have the entire crew and yourself put on a life jacket. After all your life jackets are on, you should find protection near the shoreline or at a dock. As a power boater, we should give way to all boats that are under their own power and/or sail. This would be paddle boards, kayaks, canoes, sailboats. We should also give way to any commercial vessels, as they have the right of way.
So we often get a lot of questions about what to do when you're encountering sort of a weird wave situation. Right here we've got some waves that are a bit larger than my pontoon can handle. So I have to advance my throttle sometimes in order to deal with those waves. Even though I'm in a no-wake zone right now, it's kind of a weird spot, I may need to advance that throttle a little bit. And what that does is it raises the bow up to get me over those waves. Whereas one of my things I don't want to do is cut the throttle when I'm into the waves, because that bow falls and I could end up submarining or running through the waves. I want to make sure I advance the throttle a little bit. Sometimes I have to advance enough to get over the waves and then come back. I don't want to just cut that throttle because I may nosedive right into the wave.
You can also use your cell phone to call for emergency services or information. You can dial 911 for emergency services. You can also call the Marine Police or CETA. You may also reach out to Bridge Marina for any general information, questions, or issues you may have.
In case of emergency, you may also wish to unfurl your visual distress flag and wave it in an area that other boaters can see you. In the event of a fire, locate your fire extinguisher, remove its safety pin, point and shoot it at the base of the fire until the fire is extinguished. In order to start your boat, please make sure there's no one in the water swimming. The engine should be trimmed down and in the water. The boat should be in neutral gear. Your emergency safety switch must be installed. Put your key into your ignition, turn it to the right past accessory. Once it starts, let go of the key. Your engine is started. So your boat has a multitude of gauges on it. You have a speedometer, which tells you how fast you're going. You'll have a tachometer, which tells you engine speed. You have a fuel gauge, which tells you the level of fuel you have in your boat. You may also have a trim gauge, which tells you the angle of the engine position. You may have a GPS chart plotter, which is going to tell you where you are on the water, as well as your depth. We do wish to remind boaters to not rely solely on your electronics. Please use your chart and maintain a constant lookout. When you're going to anchor, you should make sure you're anchoring out of the channel, out of traffic, in a safe area. We have significant enough water depth to make up for any tide changes. When anchoring, make sure you bring the boat to a complete stop. Turn off your engine and prepare your anchoring equipment. When you're setting out your anchor, deploying your anchor, always anchor from the bow of the boat. It's not necessary to throw your anchor and/or your anchor line overboard. Rather, you should sound the water depth using your anchor and line by passing it through your arms and measuring your line till you hit the bottom. Once you feel you've hit the bottom of the water body, you should then measure out 3 to 5 times whatever that length was down. Example, if you ran 3 lengths of line through your arm before the anchor sounded the bottom, you would then let out approximately 15 lengths of line, and then you'd secure that anchor line to the bow of your boat. To pull your anchor, unfasten your line from the cleat, manually pull up your anchor line and your anchor and stow it. Then you may go back and start your engine and be on your way. The engine should be off and the anchor should be deployed before anyone enters the water. A life jacket should be worn when entering the water for any reason. Before jumping in the water, someone should manually check the water depth to make sure it's safe. When you're going to a dock, you should have your dock lines, dock pole, and fenders out in advance and in place. So this way, when you get to your docking space, you're not trying to search for your dock lines and/or fenders when you need them. When you arrive at your dock space, don't use humans or people parts as fenders. Once you're in your slip safely, use your dock lines to secure your boat safely inside the slip. The idea is to use opposing tensions or use opposing lines to support that boat inside the slip, rather than using the fenders solely as your protection from the boat and the dock. The trim angle controls the engine position in or out of the water. We do suggest that you trim up in shallow areas and bring that engine position so the prop is under the water but as far away from the bottom of the water body as you can. The trim also affects the attitude of the boat while underway. If you trim the engine all the way down or tuck it into the transom, it'll push the bow down on the boat and could cause the boat to plow water and/or take water over the bow. If you trim the engine up or near the top of the water, away from the transom, you could find the boat porpoises or bounces up and down at the bow, and the boat will slow down. As a general rule of thumb, when you slow down, you should trim up. I understand not to tow anything or anyone from the rental boat. I will not allow any unauthorized operators. I will not use the vessel at night. I will return the rental boat promptly as scheduled in my agreement. I will always use prudent, best, and safest judgment before proceeding. I understand it is my responsibility, not the rental company, that I adequately understand and am trained in operation and handling of this boat, including navigation rules, buoys, aids, knowing where to go and how to return safely, as well as all aspects of my boat use. I understand I'm responsible to enforce use of life jackets and ensure the boat is safe for use and ensure all safety equipment is on board and in proper condition.